Good morning, students. My name is Suvas Vora from Assistant Professor of Electrical Department at the Sri Swaminarayan Institute of Technology. Okay, so in the previous chapters, we can learn about the disasters, what is the management, and then after the disaster management cycles, and the different type of disasters. Now start with the new chapters. The chapter name is the types, trend, causes, consequence, and the control of the disasters. So today's topic is geological disasters of earthquake and landslides. So as we know, the definitions of disaster is defined as the crisis circumstances causing the widespread damage which far exceed our ability to recover. So this one is the basic definition of disasters. Disasters mean we know that when the heavily damage the human lives or destroy and divert the human lives, injuries and economics. This one is the disasters. So based of these disasters, there are the two types of disaster, the natural disasters and human made disasters. So here we can learn in this chapter the geological disasters, which covers the earthquake, then landslide, tsunami and etc. Then after the hydrometeorology disasters, the flood, cyclone, lightning, then thunderstorm, hailstorm, avalanche, then droughts and cold and heat waves. These are the example of the hydrometeorological disasters. Now next one is the biological disaster. The equip means then pest attack, forest fires is the biological disasters. Then after the technological disasters, chemical, industrial, radiological, nuclear are the technical disasters. And the last one is the man-made disasters. It means the human disasters, the building collapse, rural and urban fires, road and rail accidents, nuclear, radiological, chemicals and the biological disasters are the example of the man-made disasters. So start with the geological disasters. So geological disasters occurs is the natural disasters or natural geological process impact on our activities either through the loss of life and injury or through the consequence losses such as the disaster are different degrees avoidance or predictable if the hazards are identified. So this one is the basically the geological disasters are the natural disasters. Here we know that the earthquake and the cyclone are the disasters of the geological disasters. Now start with the earthquake. The definition of the earthquake means the earthquake is sudden movement of the earth crust which usually organize at or below the surface. It means that we can say that earthquake is the sudden terms or movement of the earth crust which usually originate at or below the surface. The outer layer of the here you can see that the outer layer of the surface is the solid and is divided into the many sections known as the plates. The point of the origin of the earthquake within the crust or mantle is called the seismic focus. Since the focus is often tapped below the surface, the location of the earthquake is often referred to the point on the surface of the earth vertically above the seismic focus. So this point is called the epicenter. It means the when to start the earthquake is the epicenter. So in the heavy disasters earthquake in some years ago, and the epicenter is Bhuj. Basically, we can learn about the India. So Bhuj is the epicenter, and lot of the building collapse and injury are arise at that time. So epicenter means when the start with the earthquake, this is called the epicenter. So we can also say that the earthquake can occur only sudden any time of the year without any warning causes serve loss of the life of property. So this one is the basic introductions of the earthquake. Now start with the measurement of earthquake. Yes. So as we know that the intensity of the earthquake is depend to the destroy the buildings and destroy our lives is depend on the intensity of the earthquake. So basically we can say that the intensity of the earthquake is related to the amount of injury released when the rocks given way of the focus within it earth. So we can measure the earthquake intensity, and the instrument name is seismograph. So this one is the basic diagram of the seismograph, and the instrument is the seismograph. The seismograph is basically how it works. So basically the you can see that the one stand is here, and the one roller paper will be here, and the one weighted ball is hanged with the one wires. So when the earthquake is the start at that time, this one is the intensity, and the maximum peak at that time we can say that the work with the earthquake is arise with the heavily started. You can see here in the initial level the graph will be normal, and then after the graph will be heavily destroyed the maximum peaks. We can easily understand with the this figure. Yes. So here basically graph will be divided into the five sections. The first section is background noise. This one is the background noise. So what is the definitions of the background noise? This is the type of focus that the seismograph will produce when there is the no actions. It means that we can say that the background noise have no any sections or the earthquake will be arise. Now the second section is the P waves. It means we can say that the primary waves arise the first. So the primary waves travel the twice as fast as the S waves. S waves means the secondary waves. So now with the start talking with the S waves. So S waves called the two reasons. The first one is there are the second waves to arrive. It means after the primary waves, and then after they travel the tough solid materials like the most of the earth interior with the spheric motions. So this is called the S wave, the starting with the maximum of the earthquake, and then after the surface wave, this is called the surface wave. So surface wave arrives the last because their larger amplitude surface wave always arrives the last after the P and S waves. So this one is the last of the waves, and the fifth one is the SP time interior. The most important piece of the information that can be collected from the seismograph. The interior will tell us how the far away from the earthquake is. For example, you can see the graph of the FP interval is 1 minute and the 45 second. It means here we can say that 1 minute and 45 seconds. So we can easily understand about the calculations of the earthquake. Here the another table will be given. It means here you can see that the intensity on the Richter scales and the extent of the damages. If the magnitude intensity is up to 3, the no damage. Then after 3 to 5, it means the cracks on the old building. Then after 5 to 7, the crack in the rods, and then after above the 8, the collapse of the building. So this table we can say that what is the intensity of the magnitude at that time, we can conclude that okay, which damage are arise that. Now we can study about this graph. So showing the graph, the different waves, seismograph will also show you the amplitude of the waves so that the intensity of the earthquake could be always calculated. For this purpose are only the interested on the highest amplitude of the S. It means the second wave to arrive to the seismograph. For the seismograph, write the amplitude of the S wave is about the 217, and the SP interval is 48 seconds. So that is the difference in time from the arrival of the first primary waves until the arrival of the S wave. So now we can learn the basic measurement of the seismograph. Now the causes of the earthquake is are the natural wave of releasing the energy by the earth, and the earthquake occurs in the certain pockets of the earth which is geological fault. So basically the earthquake will be the geological force. It means the pressure are or release the energy by the earth, and the earthquake will be arise. Now the effect of the earthquake, the first one is damage the building. So high magnitude earthquake can lead to complete the collapse of the building. Debris from the collapse the building is mild damager in the course of the earthquake, because the falling the effect of hug heavy and object can be deadly to the humans. So we can say that the damage the building, the magnitude is above the 3. magnitude. Then after the damage the instru- in infrastructures, so the earthquake can cause the electricity lines to fail or fall. This is the dangerous because the exposed the live wires can electrocute the humans or start the fires. So the major earthquake can cause the road and gas line and water pipe are the broken gas also the cause of the escaping the earthquake. Then after the landsliding and rock skills rock sliding, when the earthquake occurs the large rocks and the section of the earth located up hills can be dislodged and the consequently the rolling the rapidly down into the valley. The landslide and the rock slides can cause the destructions and death to the peoples living down the stream. Then after the can result in the floods. So this one is the another effect of the earthquake. And the last one is the earth can the triggering the tsunami because the earthquake is heavily affected of the oceans and the oceans will be start with the tsunami and the lead to the liquefations. So liquefations is the phenomenon when the soil becomes structured and the loss its strength when the sediments the consequenting of the high water content are subject to the constant billing. So these one are the effect of the earthquake. Now to start with the type of earthquake. Here the first one is the tectonic earthquake. The tectonic earthquake means the compose of the loss, crack and fragment of the land refer to the tectonic plates. So these plates are capable to move the slowly and gradually the movement of this plate of the different forms. So this one is the tectonic earthquake. Then after the volcanic earthquake. So compared to the tectonic earthquake, the volcanic earthquakes are less prevalent. They typically take place before or after the Europeans. So volcanic earthquake comes into forms and the long period of the volcanic earthquake. It means the volcano will be arise. This one is the produce the type of the earthquake. Then after the explosions earthquake. So these are caused by the nuclear explosions. So the nuclear explosions at that time that place will be starting from the effect of the earthquake plates and then after earthquake will be arrives and the collapse of the earthquake. These kind of earthquake are generally smaller and most commonly occur near the underground mines. They are sometimes referred to the mine bursts. So these are the causes, effect and the type of the earthquake. So some of the precautions may be measured in the event of the earthquake. So first one is move out in the open area. Then after if you are the under of the building and unable to move, you can go to the center of the buildings. Then after the you traveling the vehicles, you can stop the traveling and out from the building the walls, bridge, trees, electricity poles and wires. Check the structures damage and the clear the blockage. Then after the check the injuries and apply first aid and help the others and keep away from the buildings, especially old and tall ones, and the electricals, wires, and walls. So these are the basic precautions made when the earthquake will be arise. Now, so we can see that the what is the earthquake. Now, starting from the landsliding. So, the definition of the landsliding, we can say that the general term used to describe the down of the slope movement of the soil, rock, and the organic materials under the effect of the gravity. Also, the land from the result from the such a movement. It means that the landsliding means the movement of the internal inertia of the rocks and others, and it depends on the mass movement, then slope movement, and landslide, so that the movement of the mass of rock strips or earth down to the slope. So this one is the basic of the landslides. Now, what is the landslides? That we can say that the occurrence of the landslide is consequence of complex field of the forces which actions the mass of rock or soil on the slope. Basically, two determinative parameters: the increase of the stress and decrease of the material. It means that the weight of the rocks and the lands will be high on the high hills. At that time, the landsliding will arise. And the second one is the decrease of the material strength. It means here the material strength will be decreased. At that time, the landsliding will be arise. That so now discuss with the causes of the landsliding. So the first one is undercutting of the foot of the hill slope due to the river erosions, quarrying, then after the elevator for the canals and roads and etc. It means that in the hills we can start with the make a road inner of the hills. At that time, landsliding will be arise. The external load such as the building and reversions, highways, then rocks are will be starting from the down increase until the weight of the slope materials to increase of the water content. The vibrations due to the earthquake, blast, blasting, then traffic, etc. are causing the increase of fear and stress. So these are the causes of the landsliding. Now the classifications of landsliding. So you can see here a different type of classifications of landsliding. The rotation of the landslide, here the curves will be there and the rock will be rotated from the downsides. Then after the translations of the land, in this type of lands, the lands or sands will be from the straight to downsides, then block sides. In the hills full the rod will be downside, then rock fall. In this type, the blocked with the directly from the downsides. Then after the toppers, when the land of the decrease the material, at that time downside of the material to the toppers, this is called the toppers. Then after describe the folds, then after describe the avalanche, earth flow. Then after the creeps will be when the step to step will be down from the earth. is called the creeps, and then the last one is the lateral spreads. It means the spread of the land and the sand. This is called the land spread. So this one is the classification of landsliding. So this when we can easily understand of the falls. You can see that this one type of the called the falls to direct from the downsides. Then after the rock, a rock means this one is the high hills and the far away from the rocks. This is called the rocks, and this one is the fall down of the hills. The example of the toppings, this one is the toppings, yes. In the translation slides means downside in the slope side. This is called the translation slides. Then after the rotational slides, each one is the basic examples of the rotational slides you can see here. And the creep means this one orally the overhead to the surface. This is called the creep sides. Then after the rock sides you can see that the different examples, rotational toppings and which failures, and then after the plunger failures. These are the example of the rock slides. The next one is the moment of earth flow. This one is the moment of earth flow. The flow type of the moment describe the avalanche. So this one is the describes the avalanche examples. So now today's we can learn about the what is the earthquake, then after the measurement of earthquake, causes, effect and types of earthquake, what is the precautions may be and made when the earthquake will be arise. Then after we can learn about the landsliding and types of landsliding. So here the assignment questions is define the term geological disasters, write the short notes on the earthquake, what is the meaning of landslide, and also explain the classifications of lands in the details, but you can only write only the statement of the classifications. So if any queries regarding this topic you can contact me, and also the query regarding this topic you can also send me the mails your questions. Here my mail id and the contact number are displayed on your screen. Thank you.